And when the Houthis took over, also they were able to take over large stocks of weapons that the Yemeni military controlled. So the issue wasn't so much weapons, although in certain specialized areas it was. But what Iran has become has been the main ally, well, the only real ally, the only substantive ally that the Houthis have. And you can see that in their training, you can see that in their tactics, you can see that in the highly sophisticated media capability they have. And by the way, if you go and look back at Lebanon and Hezbollah developed very early on a very sophisticated media capability. When you look at the Houthis, when they mount, pinprick operations, they try to break into Saudi Arabia, the media angle is much more important than the actual event. And their capability is very advanced. That's all Hezbollah.
Yes.
So you see Hezbollah's footprints all over the place. So the point isn't, and by the way, that's not to say that the Iranians would not have sent arms. One of the things that Saudi Arabia did when it started the war it wanted to reduce the flow of arms from a torrent or a river to a trickle, and it did that by closing down the airports. The Iranians suddenly developed a daily flight from Iran to Sana'a. Now, there's no tourism between Iran and Yemen. There's certainly no commercial activity, and the Iranians certainly don't have spare capacity with their airline industry. They were very short of planes, but suddenly a daily flight started to take place. And what was that for? Well, that was obviously to create a pipeline. So by hitting the airports and by blockading the ports, what Saudi in fact, Saudi Arabia had two main objectives, and I think that's important to say in the war in Yemen. The main objective was to reduce the flow of arms from a broadband to a little copper line, really. So the idea was to push the Iranians from being able to very easily deploy and send weapons and assistance to forcing them to smuggle through small boats and through the Omani border. And that has been achieved. The second one was to send a message to the Houthis that if you want to ally to Iran, there will be a high price. And that has also been achieved.